Good evening, everybody. So, welcome all of you to this investor education webinar being organized by NISM. To start with, firstly, wishing all of you a very happy World Investor Week to all the participants as well as our panelists today. So, just as a context, you would know that NISM has been observing World Investor Week since October 6th till 12th, and it's under the aegis of both IOSCO as well as SEBI. IOSCO, for your information, is International Organization for Securities Commissions. So it's basically Securities Markets Regulators Association, and it is their idea to observe this particular week as a World Investor Week. So we at NISM have been observing this, and as our part, we've been organizing various webinars. The topic and the theme that IOSCO had provided was on technology and digital finance, artificial intelligence, scam prevention, and other topical issues related to securities markets. So it was a long week. We started on 6th of October with a session on financial planning, like how should be you should be aware about the various frauds and all that stuff. Later, we also went to some digital finance topics. The sessions were conducted in English as well as Hindi. So now today, a quintessential topic for all of us is how do we select a good financial advisor? So without this topic being touched upon, I think it would be an incomplete format. So today we thought that this is an essential thing that all of us should be knowing. And therefore we invited Mr. Suresh Sadgopan to help us, unveil this topic and tell our audience how critical is to select a good financial advisor. So just to begin with, firstly, I'll tell you about NISM. NISM is SEBI's capacity building initiative, as you all know. We at NISM are having various certifications mandated by SEBI, which the intermediaries have to take in. So that is one thing which we look after. Second is NISM has its own e-learning programs in various spheres. It can be taken by intermediaries, it can be taken by students, it can be taken by housewives. So there are multiple programs that a person can, just complete sitting at home, enroll themselves for this. We have academic programs, both long term and short term. We have various trainings organized for our intermediaries, or you can say even for some of the faculty members from different HEIs, high educational institutes. So the domain is very big, and then important leg. We are also into investor education. So we promote investor awareness through NISM's advocacy efforts, primarily through investor education programs, which are conducted in the classroom sessions in settings, and also through webinars, which we are doing here. And the other thing which we have is master class, which is taken by a director. So it's curated quite well. Our director sits with the market thought leaders, and he himself, of course, is a thought leader in securities markets. So there, it's an interaction that takes place with the experts. So, and we have these recordings available on our website as well as YouTube. So please do watch that. In addition to that, we have National Financial Literacy Quiz for the student fraternity, and also various CSR initiatives under investor education. Now, coming to this topic for today, how to select a good financial advisor for yourself. Before we dive into it, it's important that I provide some context because ultimately it's the context that matters. So, let me just explain the importance of this topic through an analogy from our daily lives. Now, think about your everyday decisions, each one of you. When we are sick, we consult a doctor. When we are buying a phone, we ask our friends or read reviews just to make sure. And we'll, catch hold of our techie friend that you please tell me what is this technology? I want to buy this laptop. Is it the correct chip and all that kind of thing? When we are traveling, we'll follow a guide, or we'll be on Make My Trip and other platforms just to say that we should be getting the right price for everything. There should be value for money everywhere. So in every aspect of life, we seek advice to make better decisions. Similarly, managing your finances also requires guidance, is the point that we want to draw in today, especially if you want to achieve your high long term goals. Many people are earning well. Okay, it's the educated class, but they struggle with managing their money. We have doctors, we have reputed lawyers, even people from finance industry, they do not get the time to manage their money. They would have studied everything, they can, they know what exactly to be done, but they do not have the discipline in life. Like, I really need to take charge of my finances. I need to get a health insurance policy in place. I need to get my term insurance in place, or I need to just plan out for my children, their education, for myself, my retirement, which is the most important and the critical part. So, finances often take a back seat, and sometimes this careless or callous behavior with money gets unnoticed. So, it's important to take responsibility of a hard earned money. And just like you are consulting your tech savvy friend before buying a laptop because they know better, a financial advisor, I would say, registered with of course regulated by SEBI, or basically by the regulators. Please take note of that. Not anybody cannot become a financial advisor or a register. It has to be a registered intermediary. So they can help you make informed decisions, avoid mistakes, and plan effectively for your future. So, in today's topic, we'll discuss why having a financial advisor is important, and explore how to select the right advisor for for yourself, someone who's registered, trustworthy, as well as who truly understand your financial goals. So, in today's session, we will discuss about all this, like why is it important to have a financial advisor and how one goes about selecting an advisor. And this session will be taken by Mr. Suresh Sadgopan. He is the MD and Principal Officer of Ladder 7 Wealth Planners, a SEBI registered fee only financial advisory firm in India. Ladder 7 is known for its expertise in financial planning and advisory service for over 2 decades. Mr. Sadgopan holds an MMS and certifications like CFP, CTEP, RLP, and is a frequent speaker and writer on financial planning and personal finance. Suresh sir also founded the Financial Planners Guild India, which is FPGI, where he serves as a president. And he is also founding member of the Association of Registered Investment Advisors. Sir is also recognized among 101 topmost influential BFSI leaders, and he has authored the book "God Was Your Financial If God Was Your Financial Planner," which is published by Westland Publications. So, with this, I hand it over to Sir to take forward the session.
Thank you so much. I think you have done half my session, or rather, at least you have given it a good start. So thanks so much, Rasmeet ji. And I thank NISM for giving me this platform to talk to all of you. So good afternoon to all of you. I think it is off to a good start. I mean, normally in the case of a 100 meters dash, 200 meters dash, the start is very, very important. I think Rasmeet here has done that portion extremely well and handed over the baton to me. So I will take it over from here. I'll try to do justice and be useful to the participants. So I'm taking over from here. I'm going to share. I'll be sharing the screen now. Is this visible now?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So today's topic is why and how to select a good investment advisor. I think why should you select a good investment advisor? I think Rasmeet has done a great job on that, and I'm going to add a bit to what she has already. She has laid the foundation. So let me get into this. We have about roughly 40 minutes or so. So I will try to cover all the important topics in this time period. See here, I mean, like she had also pointed out, I mean, for every facet of life, we have somebody whom we depend upon. When we have any kind of illness or we need any kind of counsel on medical related subjects, we go to a doctor. If it is something to do with nutrition, we will go to a nutritionist. If it is any legal kind of matter, I mean, we may be able to do, but we would prefer to consult a lawyer and so on. So these are all specialized areas, and we may know something about that particular area. But still, I mean, we may not be the competent people. We may not know the in and outs of that particular area. And especially, I mean, there are lots of changes in all these areas. And because of that, we may not be current and fully aware. Apart from that, I mean, a lawyer or a doctor or even a financial planner, you have to be abreast of all the things which are happening in that particular field. Secondly, a doctor, lawyer, architect, or a financial planner, anybody who is a specialist, will be doing only that for a living. There is no other thing that they are going to do for a living. As opposed to that, A normal person who is actually having a day job or they are doing something for their living, for them, finance area or a medical area or a legal area is just one of the areas which they will look at when they have a problem. So, I mean, it is not their focus area. So, because of that, their kind of perspective, their kind of knowledge base, and everything is going to be rather limited. So, suffice to say that when it comes to a specialized area, you will need a specialist. In the case of lawyers, in the case of architects, in the case of nutritionists, and when it comes to tax filing, you go to a CA and things like that. I mean, these are all established professions, and we kind of agree to go to these people because first and foremost, in the case of medicine, I mean, people do self-medicate, people do take their own nutrition supplements and things like that, but most people want to go to those professionals. But when it comes to finance area, a lot of people try to wing it. I mean, they go through the financial dailies, or they may ask a friend, they may ask somebody else. See, it's not a matter of whether the friend knows enough or what is given in the financial dailies are right or not. It's not about that. It is all contextual. So if you ask me, is NPS a great product? I will say NPS is a great product. Is PPF a great product? It's a great product. I mean, but is it suitable to you in your context? Do you really require that? That is something that only a professional can really tell you, and that person can tell you whether you really require it, why do you require it, or you do not require it, and why you do not require it. So, I mean, in every profession, there are nuances which only a professional will be able to parse and let you know. So the other very, very important thing is that, see, once you have a professional who in that particular area, you will be able to focus on your own personal and professional areas. Right? I mean, your professional areas, obviously, if you're seeking a financial advisor, will be something else. You may be an IT professional, you may be doing something else in your life, but that may not be finances. And that is precisely where financial advisor can truly add value. So you focus on your personal and professional areas and leave the financial planning and the financial wellness aspect to a professional. So that is the advantage of having a proper financial advisor with you, who will ensure that your needs, goals, and your wealth planning requirements in the future, including your retirement, are taken care of comfortably. So that's the whole premise of a financial advisor, why a financial advisor is really required. Now, the other important thing, yeah, I'll come to what a financial advisor truly does. I mean, so a lot of people tend to think of financial advisor or financial planning in terms of investment and portfolio. While investment and portfolio is the ultimate aim of probably the financial planning, because without investments or portfolio building, we will not be able to achieve, I mean, the amounts that are required for the various goals or the wealth creation requirement. So we'll not be able to do that. But again, in everything we need to plan, right? I mean, if you have a piece of land and you want to construct a bungalow, or you want to construct a building, or you want to do anything, typically you will go with your requirements to an architect, and you will very, very clearly tell them what is that you want to do. Is it a showroom that you want to have in the first floor, second floor, and the ground floor, or is it a bungalow? How many people will be there in the bungalow? Who are all the users? How many rooms at the ground level, and so on. So based on your requirements, the architect will come up with a blueprint. After 1 or 2 iterations, the blueprint will get finalized. Now, this is typically what happens with almost every other thing. If somebody wants to put up a factory, they don't start acquiring a land and start digging. So there is extensive planning which goes into, let us say, putting together a factory before even the first stone is laid out. So that should ideally be the case with even one's finances. So, but unfortunately, financial planning is not really thought to be something required. And a lot of people tend to think that, okay, fine, if I put together a bunch of products for myself, and those products are supposedly aligning with my goals, like, for example, a children's policy or a retirement pension plan. Suppose I buy a few of these, then I have done enough for my future. See, there is no one proper plan which will tell you whether that will help you, and to what extent are you going in the right direction, you won't. So that is where, to start with, a financial advisor uh, typically understands the person's finances, personal situation, what are the goals ahead, where do they want to go, and then prepares a blueprint. So once the blueprint is there, that will be the base document from where everything else will spring up, including the investments. The important thing in a financial advisor's role is the person needs to be a fiduciary. Fiduciary is somebody who puts the client interest ahead of any other interest, including the advisor's own self-interest. So the person needs to be a fiduciary. See, when you go to your parents or your best friend or anything regarding a particular concerning area in your personal situation, these are people whom you trust. They may be able to advise you properly because they have seen life, and probably they'll be able to advise you. So one is trust and one is competence. In the case of your friend, for example, if you go and ask your friend about the finances, that person may be a trusted person. Okay, you completely believe in what believe that this person will act in your best interest, but that person may not have competence. Number one. Number two, the person may have competence but may not know your situation fully. Number three, the person may have some amount of competence, may or may not know your situation, but may not have the professional ability to guide you to the extent that a professional can guide you. So for all these reasons, you need to go to a person who has the professional credentials and at the same time somebody you can trust. So that is precisely why SEBI has come out with a class of advisors who are fiduciaries. Fiduciaries by the model are people who put the client interest ahead of all the other interests, including their own self-interest. So we are taking the conflicts, bulk of the conflicts out of the equation. I'll also talk about why I'm talking about bulk of the conflict and not all the conflicts. In life, there is there cannot be an individual who has no conflicts at all. That probably can be only God. Everybody else will have some conflict or other. The most important thing which SEBI has put down in its regulation is that if there is a conflict of interest, you need to disclose the conflict of interest. The other person needs to know that this is a situation where there is a conflict and you are aware, and you are asking all the right questions. After you are okay with that, then only you are going ahead with that decision, right? So the other important thing is independence. The financial advisor needs to be independent and should not be aligned with any particular company, whether it is an insurance company or a mutual fund company or any other financial services entity. And somebody who has the capacity to create a blueprint, has the education experience certification, and is able to help in building a plan and obviously creating wealth and achieving the goals. So, I mean, as a financial advisor, I tell them that my role as a financial advisor is to give you clarity regarding your finances and the life ahead, and endow you with a peace of mind. So that is my role as a financial advisor. So typically, every financial advisor, that is the endeavor. Okay. So, but at the same time, selecting a financial advisor is not an easy thing. Okay, and there is a reason for that. So in the case, if you are in the market for a car, okay, I mean, it is something that we have seen, or you are in the market for a bike. A lot of times you would have done fair amount of work on that. You already know a lot of things. You know what to compare that with. So there is a context in terms of what what you want to compare that with. Okay, so now in the case of a financial advisor, we don't even know what is that I'm looking at. Or what is that I really want, and with what can I compare that with? So there is no context in this because I don't know. I have never been to a financial advisor. I don't know of any other person who has gone to a fee-paying financial advisor. So I don't know. So that is also another problem, and I also don't know what are all the parameters I need to keep in mind for a good financial advisor. So at this point, I would want to launch a poll. So if I can request Sahil to launch the first two questions, that will give some clarity regarding what is that you people have in mind. Yeah, a simple two questions. That's all. Are you aware of how to select a financial planner for yourself? Wonderful. There are a lot of people who are saying they know. I mean, if you already know, that's fine. So maybe what I'm going to say is going to be repetitive from your point of view. I'm hoping that some of you who already know how to select a financial advisor uh, are able to take out something from this session. That's what I'm hoping. So it's almost 47 to 53, 52% say that they do not know, and 48%. It's fantastic. I mean, I would really compliment each one of you who's attending this session, that this seems to be an enlightened audience. Normally, many people do not know how to really evaluate a financial advisor. So it's almost 50-50. I'm able to see that. Fantastic. So can we launch the second question, please? So it's almost 50-50. It's actually 50-50. Fantastic. So the second poll also, before we go ahead. Are you aware about how to select a financial planner? I think that is exactly what you people have said. I think you're aware about how to select a, yeah, is your financial planner a SEBI registered investment advisor? Yeah, sorry. Great. Again, it looks like this audience which we have here is a well-aware audience, because 46% knows what is a SEBI registered investment advisor, and they know about that. I mean, so the awareness here among this, fantastic. I mean, I fully compliment. I'm very thankful to you people for taking this poll. Let me go ahead. Thank you. You can take this off, please. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down some of the parameters. Since you as an audience, many of the parameters probably you may know, so please bear with me. I have another 20 minutes only, so I'll probably go fast because this audience seems to know a whole lot of things. So here, understanding how to choose a financial advisor, there are about 9 or 10 parameters which I have outlined here. By no means these are the only parameters. There can be other things also. So I may skip certain some things here, but broadly I'm laying the ground for what is that you need to look for. So we talked about SEBI registered investment advisor. That is the regulatory compliance. Anybody and everybody is not expected to offer financial advice. So a SEBI registered investment advisor needs to comply with the regulation. They will have to have certain education, experience, certification requirements. They need to maintain certain standards. They need to maintain a record of whatever advice they are giving. It has to be they will have to be able to prove that it is a fiduciary advice, and so on and so forth. So regulatory compliance is one of the essential aspects of a financial advisor. Remuneration transparency is very important. The advisor will have to tell you exactly how they are going to charge, and ideally you should know in advance what is that you are going to pay and what is the service you are going to get. Client alignment, this is very important. Again, the advisor may be great, but is the advisor in a position to offer you the services that you may be looking for? So what is your expectation? Will the advisor be able to align and do that for you? So that we will have to see. Service transparency, what are the services offered, at what frequency, and what are they going to charge for these kind of things? Who is going to deliver that? So that is very important. Experience and track record. I mean, this is self-explanatory. I mean, in any profession, you want to go to somebody who is having a certain vintage and a good track record. So obviously, this is something very important when you're selecting a financial advisor also. What is the team setup? See, there are solo advisors. Like in the case of a doctor also, you have a solo doctor and you have a clinic or you have a hospital. So you have solo practitioners. Solo practitioners have their own advantages. If you have a clinic or a hospital, I mean, there will be multiple doctors, specializations, there will be support people. So there are advantages both ways. But if you have a ensemble practice, like in the case of a clinic or a doctor or a hospital, it provides for certain continuity, even if the person is not in a position to offer you the service because personally they are tied up. Then also there will be somebody who will be able to offer that particular service. I'm talking in the context of a clinic or a hospital. So in the case of a solo practitioner, if the doctor is not well or personally they are involved somewhere, then I mean that service is not available for that many days when they are not there. So you have to look at whom you want to go to. Education and credential, this is part and parcel of the regulatory compliance itself. there has to be a basic regulatory requirement in, they will have to meet the regulatory requirement in terms of education and other credentials. There are credentials over and above that which some of the advisors may fulfill. So we'll come to that. As far as the philosophy is concerned, one is the investment philosophy and one is the financial planning philosophy itself. So you need to broadly understand what is their philosophy and how are they going to go ahead in terms of advising you and in terms of choosing a portfolio, putting together a portfolio, or even looking at the portfolio and reviewing the portfolio from time to time. And lastly, the client testimonial or reference. That is also important. Ultimately, you may be coming to the advisor for the first time and you may not have any, obviously, any experience with that person apart from just talking to them. So if somebody has had a good experience and somebody has written a testimonial and you are able to see that the testimonial is really a heartfelt, real testimonial, then it has definitely value. And if there are references which you want to talk to, I would really suggest and urge people to talk to a few references and then make up their mind whether they really want to engage this advisor, whether that advisor will be suitable for them. So with this build up, let me go to the first one. So SEBI registered advisor. Okay. Like I said, it is absolutely mandatory for somebody to offer advice today in India to be SEBI registered. So it's a registered investment advisor. That is a designation that you need to look for. This audience, I think you are very well aware, so I'm not really going into that too much. The RIS need to have education, experience, and certification enough to advise people. Previously, it was post-graduation. Now they have reduced it to graduation. And as far as the certification is concerned, currently any NISM accredited certification is good to go. Currently, NISM 10A10B certification is present as an accredited certification for SEBI registered RIS. Okay, so experience, currently there is no experience requirement, but in the real world you may require a person who has an experience in the field of financial planning, and they have seen cycles and they have had experience of advising people from various classes and categories. The next one is, I have talked about the fiduciary duty. When SEBI created this investment advisor framework in 2013, they wanted a class of advisors who are client-centric and conflict-free. That is when they brought in this IA regulation, and we have become registered investment advisor. So fiduciary duty is at the absolute center of that. And if there is an RIA who is a fee-only advisor, you can be sure from the model point of view, SEBI registration point of view, that this person is going to do all the thing from what is good for the client, because they also share a fiduciary duty, which is a legal requirement for SEBI registered advisor. And that is the reason why somebody who really wants financial advice should go to a SEBI registered advisor, because it's a legal requirement, okay, to act as a fiduciary. There are enough compliances, record maintenance requirements, and for any recommendation that SEBI registered advisors RAs give, they have to have a compelling logic, and they need to really prove, if called upon, that this has been done from a fiduciary standpoint. They should be able to prove that. Okay, so it's a real stringent requirement. SEBI has made it for a particular reason, and it is from the client protection point of view. So what kind of clients do the advisors work with? There are a whole range of people the advisors work with. The whole point, as far as most of the advisors, is to offer a holistic view from the client's point of view. And normally, many of the advisors will start with financial planning. Not, of course, all advisors. There are other advisors who may focus more on investments and things like that. There are different kinds of categories of people who are coming under the RIA framework. There are even people who used to provide advice on stocks and things like that. So you need to be clear about the advisor that you are going to and whether that advisor will be suitable from your standpoint. Like, for example, in our case, we typically work with service class individuals as well as professionals. we typically tend not to work with business class people, and whereas there are other RAs who tend to work with business category people. There are RAs whom I know who have a practice which primarily is focused on people in the retirement phase. There are others who focus on people who have special needs children. There are people who focus on army personnel. So there are different categories of advisors addressing certain specific segments. So you need to know what kind of advisor you are going with and whether your particular need will be served by that particular advisor. Okay, advisors typically, I mean, if somebody comes who is a business person, uh, I mean, it's not that we have any aversion to business people, but we will be able to do the best work for service class people and professionals, and we will completely tell them why we want to work with certain categories and why we may not be able to work with certain categories and do a good job. Another thing, for example, in the case of NRIs, okay, so we tell them our limitations in terms of working with NRI clients. I mean, if they want to come and take a full-fledged financial plan from us, see, suppose somebody is in the US, in California, for example, I mean, I may not be able to offer a proper financial plan to them because, I mean, I need to know all the laws, all the tax shelters, all the things that they can use to plan their children's education and things like that. Sitting here in India, I may not be fully aware. And I typically tell them to look for a financial advisor in that area itself who will be able to do a far better job than what I can do sitting in India. So we generally tend to be transparent about what we can do and what we probably may not be able to do. Whereas when, from your point of view, when you're approaching a financial advisor, you need to really ask, will you be able to take care of my requirements? Are these kind of clients the clients that you normally typically handle? So you need to ask all the right questions to get to whether the advisor will be right for you or not. Typically, there are people who are focused on their portfolios and they want to maximize return. These are not exactly the kind of financial planning clients. I mean, we don't consider them to be financial planning clients. They are more or less focused on investments and returns. And sometimes when we give a context or we go as per a context of the financial planning and put together a portfolio which is not very aggressive, these people may not be necessarily very satisfied. So that could be one category of people. There are other category of people, the second category, those who really want a complete plan and they want advice on an ongoing basis and they want their goals to be met. They want a comfortable retirement. They want a guide and philosopher. I mean, not exactly a philosopher, a guide and a mentor as far as their finances go throughout their lifetime. So that is the kind of advice that we tend to give. So you need to really find out who is the right advisor from your point of view. And the next thing is the wavelength. Okay. So it is not just a question of whether the advisor is professional, knowledgeable, but you need to find the alignment. There has to be a chemistry, and you need to be able to vibe with that particular advisor enough that you are having that comfort level and you are able to discuss all the important things with the advisor. So I'm cautioning you that when you are discussing with an advisor, I mean, there is no line between the financial and the personal thing. So it is like in some broad sense, it is like talking to a maybe a clinical psychologist. So a lot of things which are of a personal nature will also come into the fore here. It is very, very important for us to understand all that, because without that, I will not be able to really do a good job. Okay, so it's very, very important for us to understand whether this advisor will be capable, suitable to engage with me and be in my wavelength and provide the advice that I am looking for. Advisor compatibility is very, very important. Whether it is the personality, whether it is the openness, whether it is the communication style, in all these senses, whether the advisor is compatible or not is something that we need to check. Okay, so misalignment, yeah, is like a bad marriage. This can be a problem. So we need to be very, very careful about when we want to, the kind of advisor that we want to engage. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Then the next one is whether the advisor is open and transparent. Do they disclose where they came from? A lot of people want to know from me. What is your background? When did you start? Why did you come into this line? And I mean, what is keeping you in this line? You have been here for more than 20 years. So things like that. And what is the process? How do you assess which clients to engage with? Once you engage, how do you onboard them? After you onboard them, what do you do? So I mean, you need to really check a bit of that. I'm not saying that you have to go into the interview mode in terms of finding out about them. I mean, this is not a semi Garewal kind of conversation we are going to have. But at the same time, you need to know enough about the advisor to be comfortable giving all that information about the advisor, and you should know that the advisor is also open to giving all that information that you may require to make that decision, whether they are transparent about everything that you need to assess. And if somebody is not really transparent, probably, I don't know. I mean, I would simply say that why should there be anything there to hide? There should not be anything there to hide. So when you are interviewing or when you are talking with somebody, you will actually come to know. Are they willing to disclose any conflict of interest situations? I mean, it's possible that there are going to be conflicts of interest. I mean, it's possible that somebody is aligned with a particular insurance company or a particular mutual fund company, or they have a preference for a certain company and things like that. Number one. Number two, even assuming they are a fee only advisor, in those kind of situations also, there can be conflicts. I'll tell you two, three conflicts. So conflict number one, for instance, suppose I am charging based on the amount of assets that I'm managing. For example, I'm managing, let us say 50 lakh. I'm charging, let us say 1% on that. So now suppose the client asks me, I have this PPF, it is maturing. I'm having some 20 lakhs in that. So should I continue to keep that, or should I exit out of that, and should we invest elsewhere? So I really have to be ethical and have integrity and answer that question in the client's best interest. That is the fiduciary responsibility, because if I say yes, probably that 20 lakhs will come to me, and if I say no, it will continue to be there in PPF. And it has an implication, direct implication on my revenue. And in spite of that, I will have to act in the client's best interest. So conflict of interest situations abound. I mean, there are so many situations. Like, for example, I'll give you another situation. So if the client is having a home loan, for example, the client wants to close the home loan. Say he or she has, let us say, 30 lakhs, and she wants to close that home loan, and they're asking whether she should close the home loan. I mean, again, I will have to take a dispassionate view of this whole thing and advise them whether they should close or whether they should continue that home loan. So that's very, very important. Okay, so conflicts abound. So conflicts of interest abound. So we have to find out whether whether the advisor is somebody who will be willing to disclose the conflicts and be very upfront about it. So this is so very important. The transparency aspect which I'm talking about is so very important. Are they willing to discuss regarding the fees? I mean, there cannot be a hidden thing suddenly popping up saying that, in page number 14, I have in point number 5. I mean, you are supposed to pay one more fee, another 1,000, another 5,000. See, it has to be very, very clear, and they should be willing to clearly commit how the fee is calculated, what is the fee, at what points you have to pay the fee, everything. Okay. So this is part of the transparency. I'm not saying that this is this is the only thing. Okay. Are they also prepared to answer any inconvenient questions? So have you had a situation where you have to part with your client because it was not working? It's an inconvenient question, but it's a question, as an advisor, I'm supposed to answer properly for my potential client, uh, because it's very important from their point of view. So there can be many, many such inconvenient questions which somebody may want to pose to me, and your advisor, your potential advisor, should be able to answer that competently. So I mean, transparency always builds trust. So it is never that just because one or two questions I am putting in front of the potential prospect, and according to me, it is not going in my favor. It's not that the prospect is going to judge me very unfairly. See, I mean, we are not really God, I mean, here. So we are all normal human beings. So we will have certain positives, and there may be certain situations which we may not exactly be in our favor. And the most important thing is, are we ticking 7 boxes out of 10? And am I okay to clearly disclose where I'm not ticking the boxes? If I'm not really ticking the boxes, am I willing to really tell you? I mean, I cannot help the NRIs. Am I coming out in the open and really telling you? I mean, I cannot build a financial plan for NRIs. Am I telling you that? So that is the important thing. So at this point in time, can we run the second poll? That is the third question, Sahil. Expectation from a financial advisor. I've already talked about a few things, but I mean, we are talking about that. We are somewhere in the middle. So if you can just tell me again. Again, again, it is very, very clear that the audience here understands what is financial planning, what is a SEBI registered RIA and things like that, because more than 50% are saying that, I mean, when it comes to financial planning, financial planner, they are looking at a person who will give a blueprint which they can follow. So fantastic, about 50%, 52%. So thank you very much. I mean, this is very, very helpful. So we are on the right track. I'm ending the poll and I'm proceeding ahead. What services do typical financial advisors offer and not at what frequency? So you need to understand what is that you want from your financial advisors, whether you want only portfolio management or you are looking for full-fledged financial planning. So what is that you're really looking for? Are you looking for certain other services like will making or life planning or tax filing and things like that? I mean, you may not be looking at, but when you are actually interfacing with a financial advisor, you could definitely ask whether what are the services that they are offering. And maybe to start with, you may not require life planning, for example, but over a period of time, if you know that this person can also offer this service, probably at a future point in time, you will be able to take advantage of that if that makes sense to you. Um, I mean, some people who have come to me, they say, I want you to review my portfolio once every month. Okay, our frequency of review of the portfolio is once every 6 months. So there can be a disconnect in this kind of a thing. So one can, so this is expectation setting. Okay, so you need to really find out what is that you are expecting or what is that you want to know from the advisor in terms of how frequently will they look at the plan, how frequently will they review the plan, how frequently will they look at the portfolio, how frequently will they be talking to you about various things, including goals. So you need to know that right in the beginning. So it is not only a question of how much fees and what is the plan and how does it look. It's not just that. So expectation is very, very important. And availability of the advisor and the team in terms of certain sudden developments. Like there may be a frequency of interaction with the advisor, which may be once a month, once in 3 months, once in 6 months, whatever it is. Right. But at any particular point, if there is a life event, uh, and it's a very important life event and they want to discuss in depth with an advisor, the advisor should be in a position to give them a time. I mean, very recently, one of my clients lost his father, and there was a matter of legacy and wills, and there were family related issues and things like that. So we have had till date in the past 45 days, we have had some 4 or 5 conversations on this particular matter. Myself, along with their lawyer, along with their CA, along with my client. I mean, we have had different kinds of calls on that. So when there are sudden events or sudden developments in life, is your advisor available to you? So that's also very important. You need to know about that. I mean, it may or may not happen in your particular situation, but chances are that in life, at some point in time, we may definitely hit upon this some kind of situation like this. And there are services which we may not be able to offer. Like, for example, in our case, tax filing is not something that we offer. So we do suggest other professionals with whom they can go and we can liaise with them. And whatever reports or whatever investment related reports that they want, we will be able to provide to that other professional, of course, with the client's explicit okay. So then the team setup. I mean, I had talked to you about doctor setup where it can be a solo practice, it can be a clinic, it can be a hospital. So in the case of financial planning also, I mean, there can be a solo practitioner or there can be a team. Okay, so if there is a solo advisor, I mean, you are going to a particular person, you have built a rapport with that person, and you are comfortable with that person, and yeah, you want to be with that person. So from that point of view, a solo advisor may be a great fit for somebody. But for many other people, a team will be a good a good way of actually looking at a financial advisor. In a team or an ensemble practice, you have multiple advisors. I mean, some designated advisor will be there who will be interfacing with you on a primary basis, and then there'll be a lead advisor, there'll be a principal advisor, and so on. So who will also be available to you at various points in time. So in this particular situation, uh, your situation will be known to more than one person, and there will be continuity in case one advisor leaves, and your situation, you don't have to completely repeat to the other advisor. So in the case of a solo practitioner, if that particular practitioner is ill or somehow indisposed, it becomes a problem for you to access the services. So there are positives and negatives both sides. You need to really check what will be suitable from your standpoint, and you will have to go for the appropriate option from your standpoint. Who will be the client working with? So there are a lot of times when people ask me whether you will be the person who will be servicing me. In this case, I am the principal advisor. Under me, I have experienced senior financial planners, and there are associate financial planners. So normally, the associate financial planner and the senior financial planner are the people who service our clients. Ours is an advisor-led model. So in cases where there is a specific requirement or a particular condition where the client wants to talk to me, of course, I'm available. So there are lots of practices like what I'm describing now in the market now. So you need to really understand who is the person whom you will be dealing with, because I don't want a situation where you think that, okay, this person is the principal and I've read about him or I've talked to him, and I want this person to be the person who interfaces with me, and later on you find that somebody else is dealing with you and you are very disappointed. So that should not happen. Again, the second thing is interactions can be online or offline. So today, a lot of things after COVID is happening online. But we have had this online kind of a situation from 2010 onwards. I mean, we used to do through Skype and other such facilities. So whether you want an in-person kind of a consultation or online consultations are okay, or is it a hybrid kind of a thing that you're okay, you need to understand what is the model. First of all, I mean, you have to understand right at the outset what is the model, and accordingly whether that will be suitable to you or not. And do you have access to senior advisors or principal advisor if at all it is required. So this is very, very important for you to know. Experience and track record, I think I mentioned right in the beginning, experience and track record are super, super critical. Anybody who registers with SEBI becomes an RIA. But again, everything is the experience actually makes a lot of difference in these kind of practices, because I have been in this field for 21 years. I'm just talking about myself. I mean, there are a lot of very experienced planners among the RAs, we each with different vintage. So we have seen thousands of clients with varying financial situations, varying age profiles, varying family profiles, and so on and so forth. So the kind of perspectives and expertise that we have built over a period of time, uh, I mean, you cannot really wish away the experience or the expertise built over a period of time. So that's suffice to say that it is very, very important. I mean, we have also seen multiple market cycles like it is mentioned here. It is also good to know how many clients have been served or how many clients are being currently served and what is the client longevity. The longer the clients are with the advisor, the better it is. Because see, if the clients are there with the advisor for a long time, it obviously means that the advisor-client relationship is working and the client has found something useful in the advisor. That is why they are sticking with the advisor. So it's definitely important to know that particular facet also. Breadth of client type, experience, I talked about this. So it's very, very important to know whether the advisor that you're going to has the necessary breadth of experience to competently serve you. Okay, and if you want to hear about certain stories about impact or outcomes which the advisor has been able to bring in terms of their clients, it'll be great. I mean, if there are some stories, I think stories illustrate a lot of things more than bland statements. So if there are stories which you want to hear and the advisor is able to share, I think you will get a much better perspective about the kind of advisor that you are looking at. How do advisors get paid? This is very, very important. I talked about a fee-only financial planning engagement. So SEBI registered RIAs are fee only, and it is very, very important. This particular model is very important because we have seen globally that remuneration influence what gets promoted. So if the remuneration, it's not that, I mean, people are bad, okay, and they want to sell you bad products and things like that. But if there is a remuneration which is pushing them in a particular direction, they will want to push in that. Ultimately, I mean, it's ultimately everybody loves the roti. So it's like that. So ultimately, if there is a remuneration which is pushing them in the wrong direction, they may tend to do that kind of thing. So, for example, commission-based advisors who are working for a company or working for themselves and who are aligned with a certain company or have certain products to promote may want to promote that to you. So, I mean, it's not that they're bad or anything like that. That is what they have to offer. So, you have to understand what is good in your from your point of view. So, fee only advisor from that point of view could be a very good fit because they are product agnostic, they are independent, they are working with a client. The only paymaster for a fee only advisor is the client. So they have no ulterior motive, and that is the reason why you should come to a fee only RIA where the clients are going to pay directly for advice, and you are getting an advisor who has the necessary experience, certification, expertise as per the IA regulation. So from that point of view, we need to very clearly understand, because a lot of people use the term financial advisors, financial planners. I mean, there are so many such appellations. People use that loosely. You need to understand whether the person whom you are going to is truly really a financial advisor or not, in the true sense of the word. I mean, are they SEBI registered? Are they fee only? So those are the things that you need to really talk to. Okay, and are they acting in the best interest? We have talked about this. Educational and professional credentials. I told you one of the certifications is NISM. Sorry, it's spelled wrongly here. NISM. NISM 10A, 10B are the certifications for financial advisory. CFP and CWM used to be accredited certification. Currently, the accreditation is not there. Probably it may come in the future. I don't know about that, but it used to be there in the past. So that is why I have put in here. Look at the industry reputation, credentials of the person, publications, longevity, all those kinds of things also help in putting a finger on whether this advisor is going to be helpful from your standpoint. Credentials reflect competence and commitment to be in the profession, commitment to update themselves, upgrade themselves, and whether they'll be useful or not, you will come to know when you see that credentials, educational, professional credentials. When you see that, you will really come to know. What is the philosophy? I mean, there are two philosophies. What is the advisory philosophy and what is the investment philosophy? So advisory philosophy is important in the sense that how does the advisor approach your financial planning itself? So in our case, we look at a holistic, comprehensive approach. In our case, we tend to take a lot of information regarding the client. We also take a lot of non-financial information about the client. We spend about overall totally 8 to 10 hours with the client, talking to the client, explaining to the client at every point what we are doing. So what is the philosophy? How do we engage? We co-create the financial plan itself. So what is the approach? What is the philosophy? How do we do that? So we tell the client that we are both responsible for a good outcome. So it is not that the financial advisor is an expert and somehow magically the financial advisor is going to come up with a plan that is going to work for you forever. And similarly, in the case of an investment philosophy, what is the investment philosophy? How do you decide what is the asset allocation? Do you do the risk profiling? Risk profiling, what kind of risk profile do you do? Do you also look at risk capacity apart from the risk profile? And if you put together an investment, what kind of products do you consider? Do you particularly consider certain products? Do you particularly don't consider certain products? How much are you willing to give for what kind of clients? Think like that. I mean, how much are you willing to go within each particular product category or within a particular company? So there are all those things which come as a part of the overall investment policy and philosophy. So you need to, I mean, you don't have to go into the depths of this, but you have to understand, broadly speaking, what is the guiding philosophy in financial advisory and from an investment framework itself. Yeah, client testimonial and references. This is again extremely important. If you have been referred to the advisor, this is absolutely fantastic because somebody has already probably experienced the services of that particular advisor, and you have been referred to them. So this is the best thing. But if you are doing a cold approach and you have talked to the advisor, you can probably ask for the references from current and past clients. So that will give you some idea about what to expect from this particular client. The testimonials also, I mean, you have to make your judgment because there are lots of testimonials which may be made up. So we don't know, right? So you have to make a judgment. When you read a testimonial also, you will know whether it is a real testimonial or not. So when a client sends a testimonial, we tell them you write in your own flavor, whatever way you are. So sometimes somebody says, "Dear Suresh," and so on. They write like a letter. Somebody writes in one paragraph. Somebody writes like a essay. So whatever way they are writing, we put it exactly like that. Then you will know exactly, okay, this is a real testimonial. I mean, uh, everybody has that intellect. Okay, you can know which one is spurious and which one is real. So that is why it's important for us to understand from the testimonial whether it is real, and if it is a real testimonial, it really has a lot of merit from your standpoint. It provides some validation about advisor's claim. References also provide a validation, but this also provides a validation. So now look at the red flags. If a person is promoting too much their product or a brand, it is certainly a red flag. I mean, a good advisor should look at what is good from the client's point of view, not force fitting a product which they have to offer somehow as a solution to the problem that the client is having. And it cannot be about guaranteed returns and things like that. SEBI has explicitly said that no advisor can actually offer guaranteed return because it is really not possible to guarantee returns. Market determined returns are market determined returns. Nobody can exactly guarantee that. And if there is any evasiveness regarding whether somebody is registered with SEBI or about the credentials or about the fees, I mean, all these are very, very essential, important. And if somebody has not done these kind of things, it shows a lack of transparency. It can be the ground for other hidden conflicts at a later point in time. So very, very clearly something that you have to watch out for. So now I want Sahil, can you launch the fourth and the last question, please? Yeah, I mean, so this is the last one. So sometimes it can be you have got a detailed financial plan done through an advisor. Some people have also said that I have done it myself. I mean, if you know enough, if you are doing it yourself, absolutely fine. But a lot of times, if you have done it yourself, it's a good idea to get it checked by a professional. But whatever it is, I don't want to prevail upon you. So if you are having a financial plan, again 50% are saying they have a financial plan, 47, 48%. It's fantastic. I mean, the people who are attending this are definitely an enlightened audience. So I wish that a lot of people are going to be like you in the future. I'm hoping that. So this is very, very helpful. Thank you very much. I'll be coming to this aspect. So be alert to whether somebody is registered. Check for the transparency. This is very, very important. What are the services? What kind of engagement do they give? Do they have the track record? Do they have the credentials? And if there are red flags, I mean, go into the details of that and find out whether they are deal breakers. Okay, ask enough questions before you engage. But once you understand that these are the right people, after fully checking them out, do not ask further questions. keep on asking questions, because when you keep on asking questions, ultimately we will not be able to take any decisions at all. After a particular point, you will have to trust the advisor after fully checking them out. So the suggestion from my side is interview multiple advisors with the same checklist. All those things which I told you, you have to do with multiple people. I know that it is a excruciating kind of a thing which I'm asking you to do. Ask for sample plans. I mean, ask them to give you a demo of what they have to offer, and ask them how much time it will take and everything. How much the fee, who is the advisor, everything you should ask them. Fully engage, like I said, I mean, you can check them out fully, but once you engage, you will need to trust them. It is like a marriage, right? Once you are married, I mean, then the lady of the house will get the keys of the house, including the tijori. So it's like that. That is complete 100% trust. So uh, we have to do the due diligence, and once you have identified the good advisor for you, you have to trust that advisor. Reassess periodically for alignment. That you can definitely do. Like in army, they say um, uh, you have to keep the powder dry. Okay, hope for the best, but keep the powder dry. I mean, you definitely trust the advisor, but at the same time, ask all the right questions from time to time to ensure that everything is right from your point of view. So this is what I mean. I was introduced while I was introduced. This is I was. I mean, Rasmit was talking about this. If God was a financial planner, this talks about financial planning, life planning, and personal finances. It's an easy to read story kind of a format. Yeah, I mean, if God was a financial planner, I mean, it is not just in the name. God actually comes throughout the book and elucidates the life philosophy itself. So it is money and life. So it's a merging of these two things. So that is what this book is about. This will go far beyond just personal finances. It will go into life planning aspects also, personal finance, financial planning, and other important life concepts also. So if you have the time, please go through that. If you feel the need for it, you can go through that. That's about it. I'm coming to the end of it. I'm sorry, I've taken a bit more of time than what we have budgeted. I'll be happy to, field any questions that you may have. Thank you very much, and thanks for the wonderful audience.
Questions in
So
Q&A
if you can
section.
please, you want to read out?
Yeah, means you can only read out
Yeah,
which you
Q&A,
feel.
right?
Yeah, Q&A session.
Okay. So who is the best advisor we can trust within the family? I mean, this is difficult to answer because, like I said, there are two things. One is trust and one is competence. A lot of people who are trustworthy may not necessarily have the competence. So if you feel there is somebody within the family who has the trust and also the competence, who will do everything in the best interest, then it is absolutely fine. Yeah. So if you have somebody like that in the family, you can definitely do that. Koshi Woman has asked this question. I'll just read out. The number of financial advisors in India are decreasing. What are the main reasons? What can be done by the government, NISM, and other institutions to increase the number of financial advisors? What are the main points to keep in mind for people who are aspiring financial advisors? Very good question. See, financial advice is a new area. A lot of times, people tend to think that they will get advice from the product from whoever is selling the product. So that is how it has been in India, and that is how it has been for a very long time the world over. Okay, so there is always a pushback in terms of actually paying a fee for financial advice. And as far as the number of advisors in India that is decreasing, the reason is this is actually a slightly difficult regulation, and the regulation tightened in between, and a lot of people were disappointed with that, and some people went out of that. So now I think the regulator has understood that the regulation has tightened a bit more than required. So they have loosened it up. Hopefully, over a period of time, I'm again saying over a period of time, the number of advisors will increase. It's in people's best interest that the number of advisors increase. But having said that, fee only advisory is not an easy practice. So the number of advisors will increase over a period of time, but only gradually, because this is a tougher alternative as compared to product distribution. I hope I've been able to answer that. my advisor is not SEBI registered, but he said he's a AMFI registered. What should I do? Vinay, the fact of the matter is that there are far more MF distributors as opposed to SEBI registered investment advisors, RAs. So you just have to be aware that this person has a product to sell. I would hasten to add that just because a person has a product to sell, it is not that he's a bad guy. Okay, so you have to evaluate the person. So the distinction is like this. So in our case, in the case of a fee only advisor, we are verifiably conflict free, because by the model itself, verifiably we are conflict free, because we cannot do anything apart from being conflict free. In the other case, it's a choice. They can choose to be conflict free. Whether they are conflict free or not is something for you to evaluate. So I would definitely not say all the people who are selling a product are completely putting a fast one on you. That is not where I'm coming from at all. So you need to evaluate the advisors properly. And then if you are happy with that advisor, you should go with that advisor. Because the ground reality is that there are not enough SEBI registered investment advisors, RIA, fee only RIAs to go around. At the last count, it is less than 1,000. So, there are too few advisors currently. Whereas in the case of AMFI registered, or rather MF advisors, there are MF distributors, there are more than 1 lakh distributors. So instead of trying to do something on your own, if you are not aware about finances at all, it may be far better for you to go to a trusted source who may have conflicts. You can, again, like, you can query that person. If you are comfortable with that person, you can actually continue with that person. I think that is, that is what we will have to properly evaluate, and we will have to go with. I have participated in SEBI investor awareness. This is Sandeep Kumar. Awareness test and completed listing of social stock. I'm also doing the financial literacy course for Bharat. My question is, if I want to do a job or start my career in stock market or broking firm, which course should I pursue? Difficult question, Sandeep. There are many courses, many options in the stock market. Whether you want to advise directly on stock, whether you want to join institution which is in a stock as an employee and things like that. There are so many different things. You can be a part of a PMS outfit and so on. So difficult to answer this question like this. I will leave it at this. I think you will have to do a bit more homework on this. Sudarshan is asking, though selecting a very experienced RIA is important for every client, what can a new RIA who wants to start practicing do, since he or she may not have the required credentials? Please advise the way forward you would suggest for such new RIAs. It's simple, Sudarshan. I mean, anybody who is coming into the profession obviously is not going to have the kind of experience that somebody who has vintage in the profession has. That does not mean a new RIA cannot come into the profession and will not be able to get into the profession and do well. So we need fresh blood in any profession. That includes the profession of financial advisory. So obviously, I mean, there are, let me take the case of a legal profession. In the case of a legal profession, the very established lawyers may be charging a lot. They have experience. They will be servicing a certain set of clients who may be able to in a position to pay, or they may be very picky, choosy about the clients that they service. A new RA may be able to service people who are below that strata, and who will be understanding that this is a comparatively new person, who are okay with it, and who will give that new RA a chance. There are going to be enough opportunities for a new RA to come into the profession and establish in this profession. We need more and more people, and if you are one of them, Sudarshan, you are most welcome into the profession. We need more people in our profession. Amit Sahai, what is the best model for an RIA to follow for the Indian middle class? See, Amit, there are multiple models as we speak in the RA, even among the small set of people that we are. There are fixed fee RIAs, there are variable fee RIAs, there are RIAs who will answer your question on a question basis, on an hourly basis. There are RIAs who will help you to put together a portfolio or review a portfolio. There are multiple things. Like I said, I mean, what is that in your mind? You will have to be clear. You will have to probably interview a few of them, talk to a few of them, and understand whether there is indeed a fit for you with that particular RA. And if you find that particular RA is good from your standpoint, it's good. Suhasini Pawar, God indeed is our life planner. Wonderful. I mean, if you are taking the philosophical view, then obviously you don't require a financial planner. Dhanraj, can we get certificate for this webinar? Yeah, I mean, that is for NISM to answer. To be a good advisor taker, is there any course for NISM that you recommend? Not that I know of, somebody from NISM can answer. What is the future of fintech industry in India? Why all other countries want to do trade with India? Again, I mean, slightly away from my area, I would want to pause this. Oh, yeah. Nikhil is asking what should be the ideal frequency to review the portfolio and how long new investment in trailing MF schemes should continue. We have found over time, I mean, based on our experience, the ideal frequency to review a portfolio is once every 6 months. So normally we do the reviews once every 6 months. So in my presentation also I said that you should really talk to the advisor and find out in what frequency they do and whether you are okay with that. Say, ideally speaking, if you are convinced with the explanation given by your advisor, you should not have any fixation about the frequency. People come and say that I want to get it done every month. So we said, I mean, we have actually found out that it is not really required every month. So that is why we have moved it to every 6 months. And if I have to do every month, my charges will go up tremendously. So why do you want to do every month and increase the charges for no incremental gain? So the point is now keep a flexibility on that particular aspect, and I mean go with the right advisor is my thing. But to answer your question, ideal frequency from my point of view for the portfolio is once every 6 months. How long new investment in trailing MF scheme should continue? So when we are reviewing an existing portfolio, we normally have what is called a MF rationale. We review all the MF schemes, for example, every 6 months, all the equity, debt, hybrid, commodity schemes, or any other schemes. We review all that. And then we assign marks for returns on risk parameters, on fund manager parameters, and so on and so forth. And what is coming in the first quartile are the ones that we keep. And the second quartile is something that we hold. Third quartile is something that the advisor will take a call whether to hold or sell. Fourth quartile is what we sell. So based on this, we will review that, and anything that is trailing for maybe 2-3 quarters, we don't immediately take a decision for quartile 2 and quartile 3. Quartile 4 is a clear-cut exit candidate. Quartile 2 and 3, we normally give it some time, maybe another 2-3-4 quarters, after which we will take a call. So that is how we do. So again, I'm talking about what we do, not necessarily what everybody should do. How RIA, Jagan Mohan is asking how RIA is legally recognized and accountable. RIAs are coming under SEBI. We are coming under this Investment Advisor Regulation 2013. If we have registered under this regulation, we have to follow all the tenets of this regulation in terms of experience and compliance and everything, record maintenance and everything, audits, and we have to be willing to be audited by SEBI from time to time. If at all they want to do an audit, they can also come and audit over and above the mandatory statutory audits which we are supposed to do every year. So we are very much accountable, and if there is any problem, you can even go to SEBI and complain to SEBI if any RIA is not doing a good job. So there is something called scores. You can raise your complaint with scores if somebody is not doing that. So this is the advantage of dealing with a registered intermediary. We are one of the registered intermediaries. In our case, we are advisors. And that is precisely why it is good to go to SEBI registered advisors instead of somebody who claims to be an advisor. I think there are many more questions. I think I'll take one or two more and we will wrap it up now. Ravindra is asking what will be the best way to convert regular ongoing SIP into direct. See, a regular SIP, regular and direct are two different schemes from the NAV point of view. So you may have to stop the regular ones currently, and then you may have to redirect that money which is going into regular into direct. Regular cannot be, as of now, regular cannot be directly converted into direct without a charge. It will be treated as a redemption, and then it will be treated as a reinvestment. So whatever is regular, you may probably want to keep it in regular. At an appropriate point in time, you can probably exit it for some goals or some requirement. Otherwise, going for direct means that you already know into which funds you should invest. Otherwise, I mean, without an advisor, don't go for direct. I mean, if you are having a MF distributor who's providing you the advice in the sense they are telling you where to invest as far as the mutual funds are concerned, it's a much better idea to allow them to help you pick the funds. They may be earning a commission, but it is much better for you to allow them to earn a commission and allow them to maintain your portfolio, advise on your portfolio, rather than trying to do it direct. If you know enough, then you can go direct. Last question I'm taking, Deepan Rajagopal. Is it okay to manage self funds without SEBI registration by ourselves? Of course, I mean, as an investor, you are absolutely free to manage on your own. I mean, right in the beginning, what did I say? I said, I mean, you can do everything yourself. I mean, if you know enough about medicine, you can do that self medication. If you know enough about nutrition, you can do that also by yourself. But is it desirable? It's not exactly desirable. I'll just say this much, that all of us work for 30 to 40 years to earn that money to meet all our expenses, goals, and have a comfortable retirement and create wealth. That is why we are giving the prime of our life, 20 to 60 age. We are giving the prime of our life to that. So when we are doing that, why do we want to wing it? Why do we want to try to do it on our own without any professional help? I will leave it at that. So I think it is self-explanatory. If you know enough, which is 1% of the population, then you are a different breed. You can do it on your own. 99% of the people, in my experience, require an advisor. That's about it. Thank you very much. I mean, this has been a very enlightened audience. So thank you so much, all of you. Truly appreciate the chance to do this webinar. Thanks to NISM, thanks to all the people who have organized this. Wonderful, wonderful being here. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Would like to extend our heartfelt thanks for taking time and speaking at the webinar. Your insights, expertise, and engaging presentation as well truly made a lasting impact on our audience, sir. Yeah, thank you again, sir, for sharing your time and knowledge with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and also thank you to participants for joining as well. Your presence and engagement truly made the session meaningful and impactful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.